Hello and welcome. In this episode, it comes in like two parts, not like two videos, but two parts. First, I want to get across one of the things that Urbit is. So Urbit is your first whole computer, and I go into what the heck that means. And then I give you an example of how to make a website using just one page of code on Urbit. We built it all right here. Right in here, we just needed one extra app to edit stuff, and then we built stuff using the terminal there. We were able to make our own website, and that plays into the concept of you having your first whole computer. I'm Ben Brown, or nordus-mocwyl on the Urbit network. The point of making these videos is to encourage you to just dig into your Urbit, to just go learn how to program, because I know there's plenty of people out there that are technically curious who aren't like full-blown programmers. And while Urbit is a very satisfying and heady, high programming concept, I just want to meet people where they're at. And I know that there's a lot of people that could meet a lot of their digital needs through an Urbit. They just need to know that it's not intimidating. So go get an Urbit, get lost making things, pick up the skills of programming, and just like learning how computers work. It's going to be invaluable to you to really pick that stuff up. And this one's a good example. I have set up a fund where those who are most interested can support me in making more videos. Oh yeah, request review, I guess. So we've just finished August. We had some amazing people donate, just from the top here. Finn Ned Palmer, Sarlev Sarson, somebody direct from Ethereum. Thank you. I don't know more about that. Sigmus Modfine, Handful Davned, Sikdev Pilnet. Thank you, Sikdev Pilnet. These folks made August's videos a possibility. We're going to do another round here in September. If you want to guarantee 2 videos this month and leading on to the year, I am opening those up for motivating me to do that. So thank you. These are the hardcorest among you, and I really appreciate it. You've encouraged me to make more videos, and so thank you. Here in August, I'm going to take what was given to me, and then I'm going to give half to Give Directly. I will do the same in September and all the way through. I love Give Directly as a charity. That's my favorite thing to do. And yeah, enjoy the video. I'll see you on the other side. Whoa, Nico-san. Nico, this isn't gonna work. You're tearing us apart, Nico! Sorry, I didn't mean to really mess you up. Good morning. Nico, our rabbit, was going ham on this piece of cardboard just a minute ago. We've brought it back in. That's good. It is surprisingly quiet morning in the tiny house. Welcome to the tiny house. We've had a nice relief from the hot summer. I've actually gotten a little bit of showers, so a little bit of rain has come in. This morning I had a very early bike ride. Threatened little droplets of rain. I mean, this was all before the sun was up, so as like dawn was gently coming up, slowly brightening up everything. The roads and the plants had like a little bit deeper tint, a little bit darker tint because of the rain. Well, I was up super early because before this past Labor Day weekend, our cat didn't come back home. And so very unusual. We've been a little bit nervous parents, but like letting her be outside and just kind of roam around because she just loves outside so much. Yeah, we saw her Thursday evening. We were checking on the chickens. She came over. She was like super lovey-dovey. That night she didn't come back, and that next morning, afternoon, when it was pretty hot, and nighttime, and that was rough. So that got scary and devastating. So we still don't know where the cat is. We don't know where Nova is. We've been driving around, putting up posters and social media things, and just doing whatever we can. Yeah, we're on the search for our little black cat. We hope Hope she's okay. It's wild. It's like cats, it can take like months. It can take a long time, and the cat can just come back. Put you into like a weird limbo where it's like, should I grieve? Should I keep myself open to constantly be grieving? Like, I don't know. It's hard. I think it's way harder than just loss. It's a tough little limbo to be in, but we'll see what happens, I guess. We'll move forward and we'll see. Hoping for the best. Today, I have a feeling there's a couple of these videos that I have, but it is the thought of like, Urbit is. And so today's would be like, I get like a chorus of children to say, Urbit is your first whole computer. Anyway. So instead of like giving like a one definition of what is Urbit and try to answer that question, I think I just want to make videos that explains like the multifaceted, infinite, let's just say like Urbit is, right? And so today I think I want to go over how Urbit is your first whole computer. This should be like an elevator pitch, right? It's like, hey, what's Urbit? What do you work on? This might be one of the answers that comes out. Oh, what is Urbit? Urbit is your first whole computer. Every other computer you've ever had in your life has only gotten you part of the way there to actually be a part of the internet, to be a full-fledged citizen of the internet. The big difference, what makes a whole computer versus partial computer, a half computer, is this machine, as it is, can only consume the internet. It can only go up to it, ask what's there, bring it in, and it's just pure consumption. What it can't do is it can't serve the internet. It can't be like, here's a web page, here are some files, here's a message I have for you, come and get it. This thing only consumes the internet. It cannot serve the internet. It doesn't matter how much you spend on your computer. You can end up spending thousands of dollars. It still won't get you to a whole computer because it just wasn't built that way. Because to have a computer that serves the internet, a server, it's a absolute pain in the butt. So if you're a super nerd, maybe you have like set up some things to serve the internet, but it's a guarantee it has not been your computer. It's been something else you've rented or some other kind of service that you made an account for, paid money for, and then they did it for you. It has never been that your computer has been able to both consume the internet and serve it. So in contrast, like you could go to Apple and spend $2,000, or you could buy an Urbit for like $10 or $20 and actually be able to have a whole computer that can serve the internet, which is a big deal. 2,000 versus 10 schmackaroons. It's a pretty good deal. I'd take the Urbit. But to be totally fair, like I do want to be like intellectually honest. It's not like you can just go buy an Urbit and then it's that there's like a thing. Although there is a dedicated Urbit machines from like Native Planet. Yeah, little computers that you just plug in and you get yourself an Urbit. That's exceptional. And they're also like really attractive. I really like these things.
Hey, so in this video, I'm gonna explore a part of the internet you might not have seen in a while. Call it the indie web or the small web, the yesterweb, whatever. And I'm gonna tell you about it, why I like it, and how I think you should get involved. And special thanks to my patrons for allowing me to make a video like this.
All right, the Homebrew Website Club, Indie Web Camp. There's the Indie Web. There's the Indie Web. Not sure if YouTube would allow that. Oh, there it is. Here you go. Indie Web Camp. This also explains things. There's a growing understanding that we no longer want to use our half computers to go and connect to somebody else's whole real computer, their servers, and sign up with them, pay them money, and or like pay them with our attention and have them serve us ads so that we have the chance, we small little plebes can you please serve my files for me? Please, Facebook, like Google Drive, please. I need to send somebody this video. Can you please serve it? It's like the whole original concept of the internet was a computer would get hooked up to the internet. This could not only look up stuff, but this could also serve things on the internet. But a lot of things went wrong with that. It's like a deep, dark, evil place on the internet. And to keep it from getting like taken over, from like being completely toppled by the automatic robot scams that are on the internet whenever you serve things, it just became unfeasible. And so we decided to just give that ability, like, hey, we're not even going to bother having the original concept of the internet. Let's let somebody else handle the idea of like serving up stuff for us, and then we will just be little like serfs that show up to your land so that you do the things. And thank you so very much, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, all that stuff. But we know where that goes, as this Why the Indie Web explains. It's like, we know that we'll get manipulated in that case. We know that we'll get the shaft in that case. And so we want to just like take that back. And so there's a movement to go back to the indie web, like independence. People, the basic recommendation of like, own your own stuff, put it out there. I think it's a growing trend. I think it's something that everybody is interested in. But yeah, if you do anything, it's a complicated thing. It is a complicated thing just for nerds. But Urbit actually ends up making this a lot easier. So you do buy that awesome MacBook Pro, this one from 2014. You can get Urbit, run Urbit on this machine, and actually be able to serve some things up. Or you can take that Urbit and move it anywhere else that you would like to. Like if I was going to come back to this intellectual honesty thing, you can't just go buy an Urbit for $10. You don't have like a computer. So it's not like a fair comparison. So Urbit has to like runs on a machine. It'll run on a machine. But if you add it on top of it, you can actually end up like completing a machine. It's like your ticket into full internet citizen. You've never participated as a citizen like that. Case in point, here's like a super common scenario. How do you share a big file? You want to share a big file with your mom or a friend or something. You've got a video sitting on your computer. How do you share that? If you were dumb, if you didn't know any better, the dumb answer, the obvious answer, this is obvi, just tell my mom's computer, I have a file on my computer that can be downloaded when she wants. That's the obvious answer. I just put it on here, and then this knows what computer is my mom's computer, and it says, hey, there's something that you can download when you're ready, if you want it. Maybe you have a pop-up for her. Maybe you have like a Google Drive scenario where you manage these files that are coming in. Like that would be the obvious answer, how to share it. But like reality, the like, the not dumb and obvious solution is you attach it to an email, aka upload to Google Drive. You go to attach it to an email, but Google tells you, hey, this is too large to be an email attachment. How about we save it up on Google Drive, then we'll put a link in here, and then your mom can get it from there. And it's like, okay, cool. And then you download it from, you're going to make a copy of the file that was already on your computer, put it up on Google's stuff, and then your mom is going to download it. But like, why can't it be the obvious answer? Like, why not this? I want this. I want that. That sounds so nice and perfect. Why can't I have that? And like the reason is because you don't have a whole computer. This thing on its own, spend all the money on it in the world, it does not allow you to be a full internet citizen. Not only just consuming what is there, but also serving it up. And it goes down to as simple as sending files to somebody, sending messages directly from one computer to another computer. It becomes a huge hindrance. Not having a whole computer in your life ends up meaning like you forever will be a dependent. It's like we all have landlords. It doesn't have to be that way if you can bring it in. So Urbit is your first whole computer. Whole being like internet-wise. When it comes to being on the internet, you can finally be a complete citizen. And so, yeah, as an example, I'm going to show you how to serve up your first website using Urbit. We can do this with just one page. one-page website. For the sake of making this one-page website, because I want this to be simple. I want this to be unintimidating. I want it to feel very practical. So if you don't have an Urbit, but for whatever reason you're watching this video and you're curious, I am going to suggest that you go to urbit.org right there and get started. And here you will have two solid choices of being able to open up a currently free Urbit. I don't think this will always be the case, but right now it's free and you can go to Red Horizon or Talon and get a hosted Urbit. Honestly, that's going to be the absolute easiest. So here I have set it up locally. So yeah, I can go to localhost.com, just localhost. This is my Urbit running. So when you get set up, you should be greeted with something that looks kind of like this. Most likely it'll look just that. I am going to require one app. That app is Cliff here, this peach colored. And the way that you're going to get Cliff is you're going to click on Get Urbit Apps here. We're actually going to do what it says here. Search PalDev. PalDev. Click on PalDev. PalDev has a bunch of apps. All these are great. You can go over here to Cliff, File System Explorer, and this would be a download button, and you can download Cliff, and that will be all you'll need to start making your website. If I pick Pals over here, yeah, it'll just be Get App, Get Pals. But you do that with Cliff. Then you wait for it to happen. While you're waiting for it to happen, we can open up the terminal app here. That'll open up a new window. You'll be able to do things in here. Add 2 + 2, 4. Hey, how great. I can list stuff that's happening right here. You got this. I could even list everything under Gen. Yeah, there we go. We got a Gen file here. This is everything underneath the Gen file. Pals is installing. Might have to wait a little bit. When Cliff is ready, we'll just wait on Cliff for a second. Okay, so first thing we're going to have to do is make a file. Because we're going to control the Urbit from the browser and we're not going to use traditional text editor stuff, we have to do it this way, and you can totally let your eyes glaze over. It's going to be just fine. I'm going to come in here and change something though, and I'm going to just call this Balloons Catman. Oh, am I going to do that? That's so sad. All right, let's do it. This is going to be Lost Cat. Oh, man. What a bummer. So, yeah, I'm gonna make this one-pager website for my Lost Cat so that I can set up a QR code on these things. So copy this over. Let your eyes just glaze over from the nerdiness. Don't worry about any of these pieces. Maybe at the end or some kind of bonus thing, I can maybe explain every little bit, but here we go. We're copying it in. Basically, I'm asking the file system to make a new file. Bingo. So this plus sign means it has created a brand new file. This is the name of my comet here. It is in the base desk. The base desk is just incremented to 5. And I now have in the GN generator folder, there's now a Lost Cat generator. When things are in the generator folder, you can call that file to engage and do its thing by hitting +, or the plus sign, plus Lost Cat. There we go. And so it'll fail, but that's okay because we actually get to see hey, wow, it worked. We have a syntax error, but gen file created from Dojo, that's exactly what we had stuffed inside of that file. We know that it is working, so it is there in the list gen. We can also list in the base desk. We can look in the gen files, and here we can see, oh, there's already a cat. It's not related to the same thing. I've got my Lost Cat here that I can call. This also tells me other things that I can call. So that's actually what I did to look up this thing, is I went through the ls list generator. I can also, in the exact same way, because there's cat here, cat, I can do plus cat. I can do base gen, Lost Cat, and there it goes. It also prints out what is inside of that file. All right, we built our file. We know it's in there. Let's go to Cliff so that we can take a look and we can actually write inside of it. So if we take a look here, we've got our comment name, we have our base desk, and this is starting to look familiar. We can go over here into the Gen folder, click inside, and now it's listed out everything just like we had done it inside of the inside of Dojo. And we gotta find Lost Cat. HLO, there we go. Lost Cat. And here we are with the Lost Cat stuff. And we can, this is why we're here at Cliff, we can actually edit the file. Here we are, editing the file. Here, let's do this. Add 40 into. If we go back over here, because I hit save, I just did that completely mindlessly, but I hit save. And so save is going to modify. So it's not that plus saying there's a new file, but it just modified Lost Cat into this. And let's see what happens if we try to call Lost Cat. Oh, it's not happy with that. One argument, Dojo lame. So wasn't happy with that. I think it needs other things. Go to docs here. Here we're doing the air guides. There's a low-level guide. Low-level guide. Over here we have a generator section. This is basically what we're going to follow. We're going to create something like this. That's why I call it air generator. The air generator. Here we'll look at running a generator via air. Air doesn't have a mediated JSON API for generators. Instead, it just passes through the HTTP request and returns the HTTP response composed by the generator. And let's copy this in, and I'll try to break that down here in a bit, but let's go over here to Cliff, pop it in here. Let's leave a note from there. Sure, why not? Save it, and we should see, yep, it's been modified. The next thing that we need to do is we need to ask Air to serve the generator at a certain URL point. And so that's going to happen here. But first, I need to put it on, it doesn't have to be Lost Cat. Actually, let's do Nova and then Lost Cat. So we're going to copy this. This is a lot more manageable. I think you'll agree. Deep dive for nerds. Let's talk about this passing command here. You're basically asking to pass a card to one of they're called veins. They're one of the deep down apps. In our case, we've messed around with, there's only so many of them. List, system, vein. There we go. These are all the veins. 8, 9, 10. Just inside your Urbit, it's surrounded by these veins. There's the A, B, C, D, E. Is there an F? No. G, I, J, K, L. We've got E that we passed. We're passing a command to. This is air. And clay. So clay is files. Air is the HTTP browser stuff, if you wanted to lowbrow it, I guess. So we asked clay to create a file. That's what this one is. Clay, info, create a file. And then air, serve, connect a gen file to a URL. That was a blaze, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back to this. Okay, that needs to be it. And so now we're going to pass to air. We're asking air, please serve at the URL /Nova. So it's going to be wherever we currently are, localhost /Nova. That's what it's going to be for me. If you were to say be at Red Horizon, you'd probably have your planet name, redhorizon.com/Nova is what this would be, right? So we got that. All right. Let's go to localhost /Nova. All right. And so we got a response back. We get the time. That is what is happening here. So it just asks for the time and that. Well, now it's working. Let's not worry about that too much. So back in Cliff, let's do something kind of interesting. So this line right here. So this line, this means you're going to get there's going to be two things that you can call this authenticated. And it can either be true or false. That's what that question mark is going to be. Yes or no. Is this request authenticated, yes or no? That's useful to know. And you'll also get a thing called a request, and you'll be able to go in there and look at some stuff. Let's make this a little bit more interesting by adding some of the things that I have, like this stuff. So this will print into the terminal useful information in my estimation. So we're going to have it say, hey, are we authenticated? It'll say yes or no. and then it's going to say someone is watching the URL as understood in the request. Save. Oh, hey, revision just went up to 8. Yeah, there we go. Revision 8. We'll go to local/Nova. We're not going to see anything new there, but we will see, hey, yes, we are authenticated, and hey, somebody is watching /Nova. This works. It is giving us some things. That's pretty great. So this simple payload, this is telling you the shape that will come out of this generator. So requests come in, they get packed into this thing, and then you run the code, whatever hoon you've created, and then out will come, or it'll crash, a simple payload from HTTP. And a simple payload looks like this shape. Like it's like, you get like a 200 code thing. You say that it's content. You say that it's text plain. Give it your response header and the data. The data's over here. This is the data. It takes the data here and it smushes it up into this stuff and blah, 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 blah. I want to make it a little bit more interesting. All right. So instead of that message where we're just taking the time and bringing it in, I don't know if this will work, but what I'm attempting to do is in here, I've got some simple sale stuff. We've seen that in other videos. I am now plugging it through, taking sale. I'm turning it into XML in XML. I'm turning it into just a thing of text, and then this turns as aux into there. Let's see if this works. I think it's easier to see like that. Okay, let's see if it works. And we will go to localhost/Nova and we will see that it broke. Yeah, really. I should have done this all ahead of time. Well, there's your problem. Hey, would you look at that? I got HTML like thing going on here. I'm just so well practiced. I'm just so good. It's just like, who can keep up, Well, looks like I need to do some serious understanding here. So there's one thing to note is you have the simple payload in HTTP. The simple payload is a response header and then data, which is a unit of aux. And so that's actually what we see right here. We have a response header, which is what the shape of this thing is, which is, a 200 content type plain text. What if I told you it was HTML, not plain text? Will that change how you feel about it? Hey, we figured it out. Chonka chonka. How great. All you got to do is know what you're doing. That's it. Awesome. Here, I think this is maybe a little bit easier to read, at least like in sequence. You can treat a lot of this like magic, I guess, and that's okay. So these lines, you probably just don't want to touch. I had to change plain to HTML here to make it work, but we will stick with this. Hello from Mars, bleep bloop. We can build from here. So I believe I have a picture of my cat on my actual ship. Or it's not actually on my actual ship, but it is up on an S3 bucket it controls. Silo here will help me find it. Hello. This makes me sad. Picking my nose. So I believe the way this works, close. All right. That is a big image. Maximum sized. I actually want to solve this with some of my own styling. Let's do this. We will be creating a thing called style. Maybe a tape. No, let's call it a patty. And we will try to make this look a little bit nicer. Let's review. I kind of zoned out there for a second, but let's take a look again. So I've messed around with a couple things here. It's still all the same. To make it look nicer, I have added a style section. To make it complicated, I added every layout's center layout and stack layout. I've modified those as I saw fit. With the style, I was able to plug it into the sail here in the head, inside the head thing, and then just proceeded to add what I needed to add so that when somebody goes to my domain name, localhost for me here, /Nova, it comes up with my lost cat poster, so I can send people to this URL and they could learn a little bit more about it. Oh, now I'm sad. I guess like note this image is something that was already exists out in the world. It's being served by another thing. I like got the URL from that. It's possible that I could pull this out of my Urbit. That'd be another thing, but at the very least I can put, images and all this. Just to review. Let's review it in this way. We created a new file, a little generator file, right? And then we asked Air, which handles HTTP requests. We asked it to plug /Nova, the URL /Nova. We told that to plug that into the generator so that whatever the generator comes out with and pops it out, you can see it at /Nova. And then we proceeded to add sail and style so that like the image that you see at the end is like a nice little thing, right? And that's what's hooked up into this. Yeah, it was literally create a file, edit the file, link it up to a certain place so it can be seen. One of the interesting things that you can do here, so we did have this, we're told whether we're authenticated or not. We can mess around with not being authenticated. Let's see if we can actually see it. So let's log out. Okay, we're logged out. And let's see if we can go to localhost /Nova. And there we go. And it's perfectly content serving it up to somebody who isn't logged in. So that's great. This is a website on the clear web. All I had to do was write it, I guess. Over here in the terminal. Oh, and so in the terminal, despite the fact that I'm not logged in, it actually let me know somebody's looking at /Nova, and they are not authenticated. Just to maybe speed up the process, how about I add a little edit button down here so I can edit the generator file. I say button, but we'll just add a link. And so let's add this guy here at the bottom of the stack. I'm going to create a link in this link, but I'm going to link to this Cliff page here. So I'm going to link to /Cliff edit our base now gen lost cat. So it's going to go in here. Oh, I need to give it a text like that. And so I should, unless things have gone awry, I have a nice little edit link. And the edit link will take me to this page. How nice. But I don't want just anybody to see this edit link. I actually only want it to be seen if somebody is authenticated or, that it's me. I only want it to be me. So let's add in here. This is like so bonus. I don't know if I should. Miclus here, semicolon plus, is going to give us the ability to use Hoon to choose what should happen. This should work out just fine. So here, I'm going to put this link behind first Miclus, and then that's going to let me do a what less. So let's see, we'll look at authenticated, which is up here, authenticated here is a named thing. So if authenticated is true, do this thing. If it's not true, actually, I think I want to reverse it. Sorry, I'm going to be a good Hooner here. This is actually going to tell me do the opposite. So if authentication is false, do this, which is, can I produce nothing? Is that going to be fine? If authentication is false, produce nothing. If it's true, produce this link. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I wasn't happy with that. Nest fail. I have all this head stuff, and I have this or produce an empty div. There we go. Okay. Now we have this nice little branch. Depending on authentication, either give a little bit of, a BS nothing or a link. So right now we're authenticated, so we can click on the button. It's happy with that. Let's log out again. Log out, log me out. And let's go to localhost /Nova. And there it is. It's missing. Wasn't that fun? There's a div there instead. There's probably a better way to do that, but that's what it is. That's kind of the idea. This is so stupid. That is fancy. Fancy dancy. So here is even more than what you need to make a website. Here's your one-pager website that you can make on Urbit, so you can serve it through your first whole computer. So that's pretty nice. The style does not have to be this complicated. I probably overdid it there. This can be any arbitrary HTML that you'd want, and then you can send it off. That was a weird noise. One page, and it makes a perfectly useful website. You know, like it's a small thing. Everybody that goes to it, it'll affect your Urbit in a way. I mean, I guess there's a lot of like nuances to maybe like go over, and there's a lot of different improvements that could totally happen. But as it is, that's it. We created the file. We asked Air to hook it up to a certain URL, and then we built it with the sail and styled it up. And that's it. That is one page. I did this before where I wanted to share my tiny house, photos of my tiny house. I just made a website that had the images on it, and I was able to just like pull it up or send it to people. Like, oh, here it is, check it out. Some of it was a pain in the butt, but like some of it was just like, it's awesome. Like, these are my photos. I own them. They're not connected to anything else. And this is how I'm presenting it. Yeah, I don't know. This is indie web to the max for sure. Like this is exercising actually being a full citizen on the internet. I just got nervous about the time. Ah, dang, I gotta go. Okay, that needs to be it. That's gotta be it. Sorry, guys. That was the Urbit one pager, and I've got to go. Bye.